Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you're having a good one. What's good, what's good, what's good? So, normally I would start off, where are my notes? I'm an idiot, I closed it. So, normally I would start off with the normal stuff that we have to talk about, right? But, yeah, as Hutanic just, oh, by the way, hello Hutanic, hello Rick Ritchie, thank you for letting me know. Now, we have a lot of news to get to, but none of the news really matters compared to tomorrow, except for one thing. There are more than just tensions going on between India and Pakistan. They're starting to exchange some blows. It's a major problem. It's a major, major problem. There was an attack on Kashmir, which is a big tourist zone. I think like 30 people were murdered. The reason why this is a very big deal is because, in case you did not know, in case you were unaware, India has a lot of the world's outsourced jobs. Mumbai is a very big area for some of those jobs, and Mumbai is only 1,000 miles away from Kashmir. Now, it sounds crazy, but I'm pretty sure there are a lot of companies that are thinking, yeah, we should probably pay attention to that. We probably should pay attention. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Hello, Paula. Thank you for letting me know that you have invested in yourself. So yeah, so there's a lot going on right there. I think another big headline that we really should be paying attention to is, yeah, they launched ballistic missiles, though. They're not going to launch nukes. They're not stupid. But the really big news beyond that is Scott Bessent actually went on the Hill and was saying that, how do I say this? U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent warned that the national debt, now at 124% of GDP, poses a risk of sudden economic collapse, and reiterated opposition to a Fed-issued digital currency favoring private sector digital assets. Thank you for letting me know Lex Luthor was good. So when you look at all this stuff, the U.S. Treasury Secretary is sounding an alarm. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Tonight's question, let me get to that. Tonight's question, which is the first state to commit public funds to establish a Bitcoin reserve? Pennsylvania, North Dakota, New Hampshire, North Carolina. I'm just going to let that marinate. So we have a U.S. Treasury Secretary that says that there's a problem. They say that there's a problem. And what's worse is we still haven't heard of a plan. He says he's committed to avoiding this problem, but the problem's here, and I haven't heard of a plan. Just what are we supposed to do? We're going to continue down this road? It's Basel, EL. So again, Basel III banking, it doesn't matter in light of all the other things. It starts. It's a major point, but it's not compared to some of the stuff we're talking about right now. FOMC tomorrow, decision tomorrow, war stuff. That would be Basel, Lex. Go in the corner. You know what you were doing. There are a lot of events. So what Hutanic is telling you about Basel III banking is a more technical perspective on the banking system. Most people are not gonna know what that means, how it works, all that stuff. But some of us do. How much money do you have on hand to cover deposits? That's no joke. Michael McCaskill, what's good? So that's a problem. That is a problem. It's a problem and a half. But when you look at some of this other stuff, A war in Pakistan? I'm not even paying attention to Basel when you start thinking about war in Pakistan and in between India and Pakistan. That's a big deal. I'm not even thinking about it when I think about, well, we've got this whole tariff thing, and our big deal was we're going to raise tariffs to be 100% on movies made outside the United States. Really? Just so many things going on. Some of them small, some of them big, but there are so many things going on. And in case you haven't noticed, we're really not hearing any responses from our government. And all of it can affect our bags. All of it. Not some of it, not a little bit of it, all of it. Yeah, India could, but they won't. And I don't know that it's going to be a war. We'll see. If it turns out to be a real deal war, that's not a small thing. There are a lot of companies right now that are quaking in their boots about this. And if they're not, they had very well better be. If this escalates just a little bit more, like you said, like Hutanik said, Pakistan has a nukes first policy. I mean, I think it's saber rattling. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're stupid like that. But imagine, do you know how many companies would be hit like hard if that was to happen? That'd be no joke. It would absolutely be no joke. And then you got to ask the question, so how would that affect BRICS? Is it just a monetary block? Is it a political block? Like, what is that? Yeah. I don't think any of those countries are going to want to step into that. So it's a bigger problem than what people think. And we're going to have to see how it is. I mean, most people are just going on, it is what it is, whatever, but that could wind up becoming something larger, and nobody wants that. Yeah, nah, not at all. Not at all. Imagine you have companies out there right now that have greater than 50% of their technical team in India. Just let that wash over you for a minute. Just let that splish splash a little bit. Yeah. Greater than 50% of their IT is happening in India. Not even worried about all that. I don't care about the history. I don't care anything about it. I only care about, can it affect my bag? It could have a major impact on the U.S. banking industry. It can have a major impact, a global impact, just because a lot of companies outsource to India, especially on the technical side. Let me rephrase. Hutanik, it's not that I don't care about it. It's that on this show, on this channel, I don't care about that. I care about what the impact could be on my bag. That's the only thing I care about. I don't care about the history. I don't care about any of that. I only care about how is it going to impact my bag. Right? Those tensions run deep. That's what that means to me. Those tensions run deep. Can this escalate? Who would step in between to go, hey, calm down, people? Who's going to do that? It's not going to be the United States. Did you really think it would? In normal times, it might have been. But we've got issues to deal with. Now, I think there are probably a lot of companies that are thinking, maybe we should be rethinking this right now. This could spill over. So they're not going to pull a trigger on anything. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to react to anything until it becomes something. Okay, Captain Banana. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you very much. But yeah, you're hearing crickets. I mean, nobody knows how to react. Nobody knows how to react to this particular incident. In this particular case, there is no clear, you're the bad guy. No, you're the bad guy. No, you're the bad guy. Nah, that's not what this is. That's why I'm like, yeah, no, I don't care about the political side of it. I don't care about the history of it or anything else other than it's deep rooted and it could be a major problem for business. Thank you for letting me know, Hutanik. So yeah, it's not small. It's not small. What else we have going on? Like I said, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is running around talking about how we're in such dire straits and how everything's bad. We can't, it's unsustainable. Warren Buffett said this is not sustainable. And again, I'm still not hearing anything. I know I keep harping on it, but maybe that's what we should be doing. Maybe we should be harping on it until we have some kind of a plan coming out of our government. Everybody should be harping on it. This is it at the level at which we play the game. The United States plays the game. It's not just a U.S. problem. It's not just a U.S. problem. I mean, I want you to stop and really think about this. I told you guys yesterday, was it yesterday or today? Maybe this morning. I've been up for a long time. Just bear with me. That the EU is like, listen, we need to stop relying on Visa, MasterCard, and Alipay. They're managed by companies in other countries that they're all a little shaky. Yeah. Like I said, with regard to our bags, there are so many things going on right now around the world. Some are large, some are small. But there's just the volume, right? Just the volume of things that are going on. The United States really doesn't have an economic path. Have you heard one? Because I would love to find out about it. We don't have an economic path. Or, let me rephrase, we don't have a good economic path right now. Our government wastes too much time pointing the fingers at each other instead of saying, we have to come together to fix this. This is not small. We shouldn't be talking about cutting taxes or anything. We should be trying to figure out what do we have to do on the large scale to start bringing that debt down. It's like we just hit a point where we just stopped caring about our bills. Oh, we'll just turn on the printer again. Seriously? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing these days. It's pretty scary. Yeah, Lex, I'm not even going to tackle that. I'm not even going to tackle that. I've been talking about the U.S. economy for a while. Through presidencies, we have not done well with the deficit. And then we got a couple of presidencies in there that ballooned the deficit. Absolutely ballooned the deficit. We can point fingers all day. It still comes down to one thing. Our government allowed our deficit to balloon out of control. And, so you're going to fire a bunch of people? For what reason? Number one. For number two, how much will we actually save with that? Not even single-digit percentages. Not even single-digit percentages. I'd like to find out if they actually push through that Cybertruck deal to a set of companies that make $8 million a day off of the United States. Let's cut those contracts. Name a couple of companies that are trying to go to Mars. There's only like one or two that are actually trying to go to Mars. So now NASA is focused on going to Mars. You see how that correlates? Coincidence? Possibly. But I could care less about going to Mars if we can't take care of what's going on Earth. How do we have money to go to Mars? Where's that money coming from? Where's the economic plan? I'd rather, we have a president that stays at the White House instead of costing us millions of dollars every time he goes to Florida on vacation every weekend. I think every weekend except maybe one or two. Seriously, go look at the news. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Right now, it's more important for us to start thinking about what the global debt is, because all the countries, not all, but most of the countries out there have major debt. Most of the countries out there do not have a plan to address that major debt. There lies the problem. There lies the problem. I don't even know what that is. HR Bill 867. Don't know what that is. Bridges burned. They messed up. Man. Nah, man. Forget about pollution, all that stuff. Just all of these things point to we need an economic plan. What is the economic plan? How is the country going to earn money? How is the country going to pay its debt? How is the country going to stand by its debt? Meaning, if we don't stand by our debt, people will feel like we're not going to pay them back. And that's not a path we want to be on. It's not a path we want to be on. We've got, so many things going on, but we seem to be focused on the wrong things. D Mac into his house. What's up, my man? A deflationary financial system is the only thing that will get us out of this deficit. Somehow, I believe crypto is the answer. Let me think about that. Is crypto the answer? It could be a part of the answer, right? To me, it's not a question of, moving from fiat to crypto, right? To me, the problem is, what are we spending on? Where is our value going is the question. So we've got $36 trillion in debt. Like, where did it all go? $36 trillion in debt, and our infrastructure wasn't improved. Water, electricity, just not even electricity, energy, train systems, just travels, everything. Just $36 trillion, and what do we have to show for it? Egg prices are out through the roof. We don't have high-speed rails. We had a lot of planes crashing earlier this year. Just for $36 trillion, what did we get? Productivity is deflationary, so how could there be inflation? Answer is the system is corrupt. There is not enough liquidity to pay off the debt, so it's mathematically impossible. Yeah, read that statement again. Read that statement again. So how do we fix it? Yo, 8 paws into his house. Disney's going to teach crypto. That's funny. I'm sorry. It's just funny to me. It's just funny to me. Like I said, I think crypto could be a part of the answer. But I think the issue right now is what is our overall plan Forget about fiat, crypto. No. What is our plan? Where did all that money go? What kind of contracts do we have out there? What are we doing? $36 trillion? We still have homelessness? We still have people that are hungry? For $36 trillion, what did we get? What did our government do with that $36 trillion in debt? That's the problem. We have a whole lot of people in government that are rich, though. All that legalized insider trading. Yeah. Don't believe me? Go look it up. Everybody's got some kind of a, we follow this senator and look how much money they're making, blah, 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 blah. At what point do we say we need a plan? At what point do we keep making noise about what's the plan to bring down this $37 trillion in debt? We need to keep reminding them that we are very much aware that there is $37 trillion in debt. And the only thing that they want to do is kick the can down the road by raising the debt ceiling and giving tax write-offs and tax cuts and making them permanent. That's not the plan. Well, it's not the plan that's going to solve that problem. We need to put them on the hook for it. And the second that they don't do what they say they're going to do, that's the second we need to get them out. We need to hold people accountable. People thought I was joking when I said that having a single job to make ends meet is really no longer the path for the average citizen. The average person is probably going to need like 2 jobs. And it doesn't matter if your second job is investing the money that you make in your first job, if you have enough money for that, or you're going to get a second job to make money so you can invest that. See what I mean? Things are becoming more and more expensive, but the salaries are not going up to match anything that's out there. So I'm just wondering, what's the plan? I'm fearful that we're not going to have a plan. I'm going to read this to you again. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent warned that the national debt, now at 124% of GDP, poses a risk of sudden economic collapse and reiterated opposition to a Fed-issued digital currency favoring private sector digital assets. Captain Banana, that was very well stated. Very well stated. Atlas shrugged. But yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of things that we need to think about. Now, back to the little bit of news that we have. OKX relaunched its DEX aggregator with real-time threat detection following its suspension after the $1.4 billion hack of Bybit. It's going to be interesting. BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust reached $6.9 billion in 2024 inflows, and that surpassed Gold's $6.5 billion in inflows. I just thought that was interesting. Tether CEO Paolo Ardoino warned that EU stablecoin rules requiring 60% of reserves in uninsured bank deposits could cause massive bank failures, likening the risk to a crisis worse than the 2023 Silicon Valley Bank collapse. Wow. When I think about that, he's got a point. Nobody's saying it, but Tether CEO has a point. Yeah, that's going to be scary. This is why Bitcoin was created, because people got tired of trying to trust the world order's economic system. And they just said, yeah, that's not working for us anymore. And then the world tried to stamp it out and they couldn't. And then they tried to stamp it out again and they couldn't. And the US thought they could stamp it out and they couldn't. It grew. And now you can't stamp it out. And instead of thinking about what they need to do, why did it come to be, they're focused on all the wrong things. Cannot tell me that's not scary. Wow. Michael Saylor said he used large language models or artificial intelligence, like tools like Mosaic and custom design securities to help them figure out how to buy Bitcoin, how to create that strategy. It's no joke. He's championing AI Bitcoin synergy to reshape finance through productivity and data sovereignty. Data sovereignty. I'll say it again. Data sovereignty. Yeah. Everything is a data grab. Those insurance comparison websites, data grabs. Massive data grabs. Massive data grabs. Do anything with any kind of, borrow any kind of money or anything like that. What do? Share all your data. Even though you stand there and go, stop sharing my data, do not share my data. No, we have to do it, between all of our companies. We have to do it. And then each one of those companies, in turn, just sells your data. And they make money off of it. They make big money off of it. And they force you. They're literally stealing from you. They're stealing your data and using it to their advantage. I'm not kidding. That's what they do. That's how it works. You ever do business with a bank and you look at the contract and it's, you're familiar with the overarching company, but then they have all these little companies that are involved. There's nothing in there that says they can't sell your data. Data sovereignty is going to become a bigger and bigger and bigger problem. Much bigger problem. If the government fixed the tax loopholes, what loopholes? Those are tax laws. It would help a lot, but if they did it, they would just spend more. See what I mean? What's the plan? Every night, somebody like Rick Ritchie comes up with a good idea. Hutanic comes up with it. So many people out here come up with a good idea about what we could do to at least start shaving things down, creating a better environment, a better economic environment. When was the last time you heard a politician talk like that? Oh, they have too many special interests. $36 trillion, we still have homeless. $36 trillion, and we still have veterans that, still need help. I read an article earlier today, and it disgusted me. There are people out there that volunteer their time to hold the casket of our fallen heroes that don't have any family. I can't imagine. $36 trillion in debt, and our veterans don't have. I'm not saying have a lot. I mean don't have. When I talk to you guys, when I speak with you guys about doing your own research and being aware, this is why. $37 trillion in debt, and there's such a disparity between those that have and those that have not. Those that have not done anything and those that have given their best. Tell me that's not disgusting. Tell me that's not disgusting. And we're sitting here with $37 trillion in debt, and not a single freaking politician is telling us this is our economic plan, this is our economic policy. What do we see instead? We see trade wars that aren't thought out. I'm not saying we shouldn't have had trade wars. I'm not saying that we should have had trade wars. I'm saying they weren't thought out. We've got billion-dollar crypto deals for no reason. So concerned about making people look over here while you do stuff over there. Where's the plan? Where's the plan? It's disgusting to walk outside and hear about how Cal Maine has made 3 times as much profit as they normally do selling eggs. 3 times the profit? Oh, there's nothing I can do about your grocery prices. There's nothing you can do about our grocery prices? Are you kidding me? There are people out here growing their own food because it's too expensive to go buy herbs. Like, I'm serious. I've got basil, cilantro, dill, spinach. I've got stuff. I got beefsteak, tomatoes, peppers. I'm growing my own stuff because stuff is expensive and it tastes like crap. I think we're we're one of the few countries in the world that poisons its people. Like, seriously. The chemicals that we put in our food over here, because it's going to be fresher. They're not allowed to do that in Europe. They're not allowed to do that in Asia. But we're poisoning over here. We're the fattest country in the world. And then we sell you chemicals to put in your body to make you not fat. Do you see how that works? And how does that affect our bags? Go look at some of these young kids that are working and ask them, do you have a plan on ever buying a house? They look at you cross-eyed and be like, why? Nothing lasts the same. Cars don't even last the same. God forbid you get into a car accident. Little fender bender. It's not a little fender bender. I can't just go and bang out a dent. No, I've got to replace the whole panel. Got to replace the whole panel. Oh, you're not just replacing the whole panel. You're replacing the whole door or that whole. It's ridiculous now. Oh, you can't bang that out. It's aluminum. You're not banging that out. It's like paper. Once it's crackled, it's crackled. More money being spent. The quality of products in this country has gone down tremendously. And yet we spend more for the products that companies are selling here are not as good as products that they sell elsewhere. What's the plan? What's the plan? Meanwhile, trying not to. Oh man, God, I'm not going to talk about that Captain Banana. I will lose it. I will absolutely lose it. But you're absolutely right. So yeah, I wonder about what the plan is, because when I read the news, you've got the Treasury Secretary that's saying that, something's wrong with our economy. You have the CEO of Tether saying that there's something wrong with our technology. You have somebody who's, truly bootstrapped it his whole life, Warren Buffett, saying there's something wrong with our economy. Ray Dalio, somebody else who has made tons of money, billions, saying there's something wrong with our economy. And not just that there's something wrong, but that we might not be able to dig our way out of this. People wonder why I tell you about the GMB3. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Because the news that's coming out can hurt our bags. Pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to what can help your bag, what cannot help your bag. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. And that's a big deal. It's a very, very, very big deal. Right? 21 Shares launched the first regulated ETP for Kronos, Crypto.com's native token, allowing secure altcoin exposure amid growing U.S. interest in regulated investment vehicles for Solana, Avalanche, SUI, and other altcoins. Yeesh. Yeah, we said that already. We know that they've started some QE. We know that. We knew it was coming. That's why I said I think that a cut will come in June. Thank you for that, though. Not everybody knew that. But I really do think there'll be a cut in June. Cut in May, tomorrow? No. Not going to happen. No, it said they're gonna start. Gonna start. I don't think they have started. I think they might have started maneuvering, but I think it's gonna start. And they've been talking about it for a while. But that's not a plan. That's a reaction. It's a reaction. Everything this new regime has done is to make the Fed react. We still need a plan. If and when rate cuts don't work. No, there are a lot of different levers. It doesn't have to happen after. It can happen now. It can happen now. It really can. But I don't think anything's happened just yet. But it could happen. I don't think it's dependent upon, I think they're different levers. Right? There are different levers. You kind of want to use them almost together, but they're not necessarily dependent. They are different levers. We have more levers than other countries, by the way. I don't know what you mean by repo. Please spell it out. But there's a lot. So what do I constantly think about? I constantly think about how I can invest my money to make more money. I think about what can I do to save money. I told you guys I'm doing solar. I'm going solar on my house. And I'm like, yeah, how much? Because I'm going to be able to keep some money. I'm basically locking in my electric bill. I'm going to lock in my electric bill. That's not so bad. For the next 25 years, I'll lock that in and I'll be good. I don't know what you mean by repo. Please spell it out. I have no idea what that means. Reverse repo. No idea. I'm not trying to be funny. I would have sent you to the corner if I was trying to be funny. Citigroup and Switzerland's SDX will tokenize pre-IPO shares on blockchain starting Q3 2025. What? Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Oh, you got to be freaking kidding me. Hutanic, I'm about to lose it. No. More reverse repo is a parallel currency system between regional banks. Maybe in reverse repo. So no. Dude. Oh my gosh. Maybe let me see something. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, nah. I was wondering if somebody was gonna trade pudgy penguins. Reverse repo is but what is repo? Repo is not a word. It's an abbreviation for something. What is repo? The definition is there, but what does it mean? What do you mean? What is repo? The volume seems to be high. Listen. Volatility, if it's there, yeah. You just got to play it. The trick is, and I'm saying it as if it's going to be easy. Thank you, Rutanic. I'm not mad at you now. The volatility is going to be there. The trick is to put in your money, make enough money so that you could take out your initial investment, so that you at least you have your money and you keep playing with other people's money. Keep playing with other people's money. There was a movie with Danny DeVito called Other People's Money. One of my favorite movies. You should go check that out. Just saying. Love that one. You just know the game. Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's gonna really piss me off if I don't know what it is, though. Reverse repurchase agreements is what it is. It's they call it a repo, but it's reper. You know what I mean? It's repurchase agreement. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. A reverse repurchase agreement is the act of buying securities temporarily with the intention of selling those same assets back in the future at a profit. There you go. There you go. You can understand where they got repo from. Yeah, it's IOUs. Yeah, it's IOUs. Oh my gosh. It is. It is. It really is. Oh, Captain Banana, are you serious? You're joking with that statement, right? You're absolutely. That's one of the problems. That's one of the problems. You know what I mean? Like, if we sat back and we just looked at all the issues that we have, we're so focused on tariffs that we're not paying attention to. We do not have a plan. We've got a plan for the plan, but we don't have the plan. When are we gonna have the plan? We don't know when we're gonna have the plan. So what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna try to raise the debt ceiling, because we have to raise the debt ceiling, because who wouldn't want to raise the debt ceiling? What? How does that even sound right? Think about all of the years that the can's been kicked down the road. No, we don't want to solve that problem yet. We don't want to solve that problem yet. We don't want to solve that problem yet. $37 trillion later, and we're sitting here saying we don't want to solve that problem yet. How's that work in your head? How does that work in your head? So how do we fix it? How do we fix it? Maybe that's the question we need to ask. How do we fix it? And we come up with a list of ideas and we send them to our politicos and we tell them, fix it. Do your job and fix it. It's not a party problem. It's a country problem. Fix it. Fix the problem of the country. Fix it. Right? Just saying. It shouldn't be that hard. Fix it. Go do it. Go do your job. Go do your job. We're having a hard time with that. We're having a very hard time with that. Anyway, do you want to know the answer to the poll question? We have 13 votes. Wow. Wow. Okay. So, which is the first state to commit public funds to establish a Bitcoin reserve? Pennsylvania, North Dakota, New Hampshire, North Carolina. It was New Hampshire. Just happened. Rick Ritchie posted that on Grow My Bag today. And then to catch people up, I posted an article to back him up. 5%. They're doing it based on 5%. That is actually a good idea. To me, that's a good idea. 5%, okay, cool. 10%, that's a little high. That's a little high. I need you to have 5%, make some money, and then you can, you can bump up that number. But start small. Start small. To me, that would be smart. But somebody thought, let's hop on the bandwagon. Let's do something at 10%. Yeah, that's why I got shut down. That's why a lot of states shot that down. Florida shot it down. Arizona shot it down. Texas shot it down. Who'd have thought New Hampshire? Of course, it's only this big, but who'd have thought? Lex Luthor goes to the corner, by the way. He absolutely goes to the corner. Read what he just wrote. Corner, loving fool. It's, oh my God. They didn't even have to borrow it like DC will have to. Yep. Yeah, I guess. But still, I look at this and I just go, some of you states should invest in energy. You want to invest in Bitcoin? Okay. Instead of 10%, take 5%, invest in Bitcoin, take the other 5% and invest in energy. That would be the idea. Yeah, they're going to go down in history for doing it. But will it be infamy is the question. Hope not. Hope not. But we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Right? I think it's one of those things where we need to stop and we need to think about, well, how's that work out? How's that all going to work out for us? Again, it's hard to focus on, like, focusing on my bags, that's easy. For me, that's easy. But focusing on our larger economic problems, that's more than just a little bit hard. I'm not an economist. But figuring out how that's going to affect my bag, yeah, that's easy too. Broke. Insurance companies raising rates, utility companies raising rates. You can't tell me that's not a legalized racket. That's what's nuts. It's a legalized racket in my humble opinion. I should give him a wrench. I don't know what you mean, a wrench. I must be missing something. I'm tired. I must be exhausted. I'm missing something. No, I can't figure it out. Captain Banana, you got to give me a little bit more. I'm missing something. Anyway, everybody, I'm a little tired. Been up early. Had to go down to the city today. That's why we had a 5:30 show this morning. I'm a little toast. But this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes. Tell your friends about this community. And absolutely become a big bagger. This weekend, I will send out the meeting invitation tomorrow. I will send it out tomorrow. I'm a little toast right now. Running low on energy. I know my bed over there is like calling my name. It's like, come back to me. My pillows are nice and perfect. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. How many New York minutes does it take to drive to New York? To drive a New Yorker crazy, it only takes seconds. Is that what you mean? Yeah, it only takes seconds to drive us crazy. Anyway, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. Everybody have a great night.